Welcome to CTV News Your Canada. It's Friday, February 28th. We'll bring you profiles of fascinating Canadians and stories about your community. Thanks for watching.
I think you just found one deceased person inside a house.
That's the 911 call alerting New Mexico authorities of the deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, along with their dog at their home in Santa Fe County. Police saying the couple had been dead for some time and Hackman may have died from a fall.
It's not normal to find two people deceased in a residence. That's concerning.
Police found the bodies Wednesday.
There was no obvious sign or indication of, a foul play. There was no immediate sign of foul play. Haven't ruled that out yet.
Hackman played Superman's arch nemesis Lex Luthor in Superman 1 and 3 with parts filmed in Blackie and High River. Hackman portrayed Little Bill Daggett in Clint Eastwood's 1992 film Unforgiven. Dean Goodine was a prop master on that set. He recalls their first conversation.
Dean looked at Clint and said, we're really having trouble figuring this character out and how to play it. And at the time, LA was going through a really tumultuous time with the Rodney King riots. And all Clint said to Gene was, I see you like Daryl Gates. And at the time, Daryl Gates was the chief of police for the Los Angeles Police Department. And Gene looked at him and said, I get it. That was all they said.
Hackman won an Oscar in 1993 for his role in Unforgiven. Goodine remembers the humility Hackman had for the entire production.
You look up and here comes Gene with his Oscar. And he came over and he put it on the table in front of us and he said, I just want to thank you for helping me win this. And I thought, it was amazing.
John Scott, who lives in Longview, was Hackman's stunt double for several films shot here, including Superman, Unforgiven, and Prime Cut.
They saw me and him together, and they made me into a photo double for him, and then I became a stunt double for about 3 years after that. Just a wonderful man, a very fantastic actor.
Hackman is pictured here on the set of Unforgiven. It sits on the wall of the local film union in Calgary. One Damien Petty says is looked at fondly for many within the industry.
He had a quiet presence on set, but was very professional and deeply respected by our members who worked with him.
Hackman was 95. Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Or it goes in a circle first.
It can move.
Or it can kind of just follow me.
It can follow you.
It's pretty much mealtime, so what's up with you?
Oh, you can speak to it too. And how does building one yourself sound?
That's exactly the problem, is like it's so hard for you to just do that.
But engineering student Brian Machado wants to change that. He's doing so through his final year project at the University of Waterloo, hoping to address a serious problem in the robotics market: high costs.
There are ones which are very comparable, which are like $25,000, and like our BracketBot is like basically exactly the same, and BracketBot only costs $500.
BracketBot consists of a kit that allows hobbyists or people with basic coding knowledge the ability to put it all together themselves through a tutorial video and the simple tools it comes with.
You don't need any hardware experience. It's very simple to assemble, like just some Allen keys and screwdrivers and stuff, which all come in the kit.
And even for the average Joe, artificial intelligence essentially helps you do the rest.
To be honest, like these days it's getting so easy that you could probably figure it out. To be clear, it's not meant to like do your dishes.
More so used for one's enjoyment and learning.
I mean, the most basic thing it does is drive.
As for the most advanced,
I wrote some code yesterday that hosts a website online that my friends in California could control the robot. And so they were like FaceTiming with the robot into my house.
In terms of when it will be available, Machado wants to start fulfilling orders once he graduates in a couple of months, something that really could change the cost and access to robotics going forward.
It's a big deal. Like it literally doesn't exist.
Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Waterloo.
Please go absolutely crazy for Sarah Hoffman!
Sarah Hoffman took the stage at a comedy show held at Mackie Mackie restaurant Wednesday night.
What a hype man. I wish you could just follow me around all day, especially in the legislature.
But this appearance isn't as Sarah, the MLA with 10 years experience. She's here as an amateur stand-up comic.
I am not here to try to convert people into having one political view or another, but I am here to talk to them about who I am. I think I think good comedians do that. They're a little bit vulnerable. They share a little bit about themselves.
She took a 10-week course through the Grindstone Theatre in the fall and has since performed more than 24 times at various comedy clubs in the city.
She's been amazing. I would say she's definitely one of the hardest working comics right now. She's on every show. She just did Yuck Yuck. So, yeah, I'm glad to have her on the show tonight.
Hoffman's set, geared for an adult audience, touches on her life in politics, her father, and growing up in small-town Alberta.
I grew up in a really small town. I am the most famous person to have ever come from Canuso, Alberta.
At first, some of her MLA colleagues were surprised by the new hobby.
Sarah is so funny, even when they're ledge or when we're outside of the house just having conversations. She makes me laugh, so this is just awesome that she's doing this.
It was a side of Hoffman, who was once deputy premier, the audience enjoyed.
I thought, wow, this is going to be interesting, and she was really relatable. It made her just so much more human. I loved it.
Because it just shows that people in different positions are all just human beings at the end of the day, and everybody has a sense of humor. That's one way that we can all connect. So I thought it was good.
It's such a good release when you hear people laugh at something that you thought was funny and you nail the delivery.
For Hoffman, the current NDP Shadow Minister for Health, laughter really is the best medicine. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
You can only set a C ball, then do that. But we're trying to set 2 or 4.
Ken Bentley has been the head coach of the University of Manitoba Bison's women's volleyball team for 39 years. This season, though, is special.
This was the one thing they really committed to, kind of a level of excellence, you know, and both of them got to play on national team programs and incredibly accomplished academically. I'm so proud of them.
He's talking about his daughter, Katrina Bentley, and stepdaughter, Julia Arnold, both members of the team, both graduating this year.
It's really just the perfect end. I couldn't really ask for any more.
The perfect ending would be capturing the U Sports National Championship together on home court. This March, the U of M is hosting the tournament. Katrina and Julia remember watching Ken win his last championship 11 years ago.
Even that was emotional as a 13-year-old kid, watching my dad and just being so proud of him for everything he puts into his job. So to do it together would be unreal.
Their corner.
Well, there's been highs and lows over the years.
98% of this has been amazing. Obviously, there's the 2% out there where we've, batted heads a little bit.
The three say they can handle the pressure.
We've come to such a good place with our relationship, all three of us, that you don't even notice it anymore. We're here to do a thing, and then we can be separate people outside of volleyball.
Next year, the team will be different. But Ken isn't going anywhere.
Next year is next year, you know. I've got a long time before I show up in September and they're not part of the team.
He says he's excited for everyone's next chapter and his 40th season as a Bison. Michelle Gerwing, CTV News, Winnipeg.
It is wonderful that Teppermans is celebrating 100 years in business.
What started in 1925 with one man, a dream, and a few rugs has turned Teppermans into a household name in home furnishings with locations across southwestern Ontario.
So many things had to go so right day after day after day after day for 100 years. In order for this to be possible.
The company's story began when Nate Tepperman, a Ukrainian immigrant, arrived in Windsor after the Russian Revolution and started selling rugs door to door. His first store opened on Ottawa Street in 1929. A century later, the company remains family-owned, with locations in Chatham, Sarnia, and London, along with more in Kitchener, Ancaster, and St. Catharines.
There were times where they didn't know if the business would continue past 30 days out. To be here at this point, it's remarkable.
Over the years, Teppermans has earned numerous accolades.
I think that whole term, proudly Canadian, certainly resonates stronger today than it ever has in the past.
They've also invested over $1 million into children's education, including a unique Indigenous scholarship for postgraduate studies.
They walk the walk, they talk the talk, and they're good corporate citizens, but they're good community citizens.
A lot has changed around the world, but at the same time, a lot has not changed at Teppermans.
To mark the occasion, Teppermans has a 100 Years and More in-store campaign featuring a special anniversary catalog, customer appreciation promotions, and community engagement events.
What we do is not unique. The way we do it is, and that's the difference.
It's truly an honor to be a part of it. There is not too many things in life that can be celebrated for 100 years, let alone a career with a company that's been around for 100 years.
After a century in business, Teppermans isn't slowing down. With a strong foundation and a focus on the future, they're looking ahead to the next 100 years.
Work hard, learn lots, and have a lot of luck. And have good people who work with you.
In Windsor, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Welcome to day one of our London Winter Skate Park pilot, almost 6 months of advocacy, but we made it happen.
More than 60 people from 5 disciplines were at Silverwood's Arena to christen the new temporary skate park.
It's something I want to do because you don't get to skate a lot in winter because there's not a lot of places you can go.
Following the popularity of a world-class indoor skate park at Western Fair last fall, a petition was started to have a long-term space. After more than 1,000 signatures, organizers started working with the mayor's office to find a location and help cover the massive insurance policy.
It's very humble, temporary obstacles, but through demonstrating the need and the impact, through seeing the looks on these kids' faces, we're hoping to demonstrate to the city that this is important.
The importance isn't lost on those in attendance. Bowain Ma came from Lambton County for both the physical and social aspect.
Especially for the women's community, LGBTQ plus community, there aren't many options for us to get together in the winter, especially with the ice shelf on the lake, and then the skate parks we have here are all outdoors.
Some other cities in the region have permanent facilities, but not London. So each Saturday night, they transform this pad into the only park of its kind in the city.
A decade ago, I worked at this little one called Revered Indoor Skate Park. It was in a church, and it was a great experience working there, but it wasn't permanent. It didn't last. And obviously, this thing isn't permanent yet either, but it's just another demonstration to show how strong this community is and how badly we need this.
With Londoners Richie Bolbrook and Cordano Russell ranked the #1 park and street skateboarders in the country, the local community is fighting to show this sport is now mainstream.
It's not fringe anymore. It's in the Olympics. Skateboarding, it's in the Olympics. We need to foster the younger generation of skateboarders so that we can have Olympic athletes in our cities, So that's important to a lot of people that maybe don't understand what this is all about.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Hi there, I'm Claire Tidby. I'm Vice President of Marketing and Visitor Experience with Discover Halifax, and we're so excited to launch the 4th annual Halifax Kids Guide. The Kids Guide's launch is always a harbinger of spring. We always know people are starting to plan their March breaks. They're starting to plan their summer vacations. We always try to get it out in February. The guide's purpose is really twofold. It's really intended to support parents or grown-ups as they plan their visits with their children here in Halifax. It's intended to give them things that are useful, like family-focused attractions, hotels, restaurants, activities, or events that their kids might be catered by. We also try to make it really interesting and sticky for children as well. So in the guide, you'll find there's lots of information about fun facts and jokes that are related to Halifax to make sure that kids are entertained by the guide as well. Because it's the 4th year of doing the guide, we originally launched the guide in 2021, and the impetus for the guide was that we did some research in Atlantic Canada as well as in Ontario and further afield, and asked people what their plans were post-pandemic in their travel. Not surprisingly, all those families that had been really cooped up in their hotel or in their apartments and houses were really definitely looking to take their kids further afield. They definitely were predisposed to come to Halifax. They were really interested to come to Halifax, see what we have to offer, but they were saying that they were unfamiliar with what we have. So in came the guide, providing them with short-term as well as long-term potential things that they could do while they're here. We tried to have a balance between things that are free, things that are paid, as well as indoor, outdoor, all seasons long, as well as things that represent the entirety of the region.
Nearly 400,000 Canadians live with rheumatoid arthritis, and while its causes are multi-layered and complex, researchers at York U have discovered a specific protein that could be the key to reducing the debilitating effects of this condition.
So the gene we work on is called
TRAF1, spelled TRAF1. It's an immune protein that is present in most immune cells.
Previous studies have found it is associated with an increased risk of developing rheumatoid arthritis.
People with too much of this protein have higher immune cell activation, meaning their immune cells are overactive.
Conversely, too little of this protein can also cause problems in rheumatoid arthritis. Professor Ali Abdul-Sader has identified a critical mutation in TRAF1, which can allow them to shut down the overactive immune response that causes the body to attack its own joints. Current treatments include broad immunosuppressives like steroids.
It's got so many side effects, and it will put you at a higher risk of infections, right?
There are also biologics, but they are so specific in their targets that many patients, up to half, don't respond to them.
The researchers are just beginning tests on human patient tissues, but it will likely be many years before they can do clinical trials on human patients.
Still, Abdul-Sader says with so many suffering from rheumatoid arthritis, finding a treatment, especially for those who don't currently respond to medications, is an exciting goal. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The annual Ottawa Senators Black, Red and Gold Gala is taking place this evening. Hundreds of people, including players and coaches, are attending the event. The night supports the Ottawa Senators Community Foundation, which is helping children and youth in need in the capital region. Joining us now live from the Rogers Centre, Ottawa, is Sens owner Michael Lauer. Thank you for being with us. First of all, Michael, tell us what it means to the Sens and to the foundation to have a really special night like this.
It is truly a special night. It's actually my first time here at the Rogers Centre, I guess the old Shaw Centre, Rogers Centre. It's magnificent. It's a night of celebration. I think we're 600 strong tonight, and you know the commitment from our staff, from the foundation, from the sponsors, the community at whole. We're doing such good tonight, and it's very fulfilling. I'm very grateful to be part of this, and yeah, this is great. I'm excited.
Yeah, it is an exciting night too. It's fun to have. It's kind of fun to get off the ice, isn't it? Some of the players get off the ice, being able to have a group of people there and kind of being able to interact with them and with you, I would say, on a night like tonight in an event space like this.
Well, we don't always dress up like that. Even though our players are pretty fashionable, I got to compete against Linus tonight, and so I got my jacket all with the Sen stuff just for tonight, just to show him up, you know. But no, our players are. It's funny because as you know, the foundation, the community foundation, is there to help enrich the lives of the youth in the Ottawa-Gatineau area. We have some incredible initiatives with whether it be Maison Papillon and Gatineau, Roger Nielsen House. There's going to be some nice announcements tonight with respect to CHIO. It's a feel good. We're making a difference, and our players, interesting enough, we have a young team with family. I think we have 18 children amongst the players that we have, and a lot of them are young. And we also have 15 games in the month of March, and we have 9 games in the first 17 days of April. So for the players to come out and be here and not be with their family and young ones, actually their spouses are here, thank goodness. It shows that we're more than just a hockey team, and they care. They care about each other, but they also care about this community. So I'm very proud and grateful that they're here tonight.
Yeah, wonderful for them to be there. Okay, hold on. Open up that jacket again. Let me see the inside of that jacket. What do you're competing with Linus, I understand, but what do you have? It's all Sen stuff or what?
If I open it up, I'm showing my gut here. I'll open it up. It's Sens. I'm actually giving Belleville Senators a shout out as well, and yeah, there's more to come. There'll be more. I've got more of my suits now. We're making with Sens lining, which is kind of fun.
Well, I love that, and I have to
go.
say, I love the bow tie as well. So well done on that. You look great, and the glasses are a great touch too. So big shout out, looking good. I don't know what Linus looks like, but I'm not sure he's holding a flame to you tonight. I'm just saying.
I don't know. He's pretty good, but as for the bow tie, I can't untie it because I'm not the one that tied it up. Okay.
Michael Lauer, owner of the Ottawa Senators, thank you for this. Enjoy tonight.
Thank you so much.
Canadian dancer and painter Francoise Sullivan was honored today at UQAM.
She is now 101 years old. She is known as a pioneer of modern dance. Her work will be immortalized by the university as a limited edition snow globe.
When Francoise is talking about the moment she danced with her companions on the mountain, she talks in a way that it was sublime, special, magical. And the idea I was having since years was to produce our first multiple with this snow globe, evoking the famous choreography of Francoise Sullivan, Danse dans la neige.
It certainly makes me happy, and it's beautiful to see when you can pick it up and roll it, you see the snow falling.
She performed back in, I think it's August of 1948, the first ever contemporary dance show in Canada. So, and she was brilliant. Now she does paint every other day, and she has her own studio, and I'm going to be putting up a show which will look like maybe more like an overview of maybe 4 or 5 decades of painting.
Simple fabric, effortlessly guided through the machine. Each stitch precisely woven together to create something that reflects a unique vision. Jackie Hahn has been quilting for decades. Her passion for the art is more than just a craft.
Every crafter, every artist will tell you the same thing. It's just a warm place. It feels good that you can accomplish something that's beautiful or handy or helpful or whatever.
Over the years, Hahn has created hundreds of quilts through her use of blending bold colors, textures, and patterns in a way that transforms the material into a stunning work of art.
I only started to record them since 2019, so there's probably 200 prior to that, like from 2008 until 2019. Since 2019, I've made close to 300.
Some of her most recent quilts, each crafted with care and creativity, were donated to Carmichael Outreach.
We had people come in the last week and a half here, like since she's brought them, and even still, like they're chilly just from being outside. It was amazing being able to have those on hand so that we could hand them out right away.
Along with the quilts, she also donated 32 pillow slips. Hahn says giving back to the shelter not only helps those in need, but it also allows her to put unused material to good use.
Brand new material, mind you, but leftover pieces that they're going to put in the landfill. Let's do something and help those people that have nothing.
Each quilt, a patchwork that brings Hahn a warm feeling she hopes to pass on, piece by piece, to those in need this winter. Angela Stewart, CTV News, Momart.
Well, Adele Hatch can walk to the water now. She recalls being driven there as a child, thanks to her mom, Dorene, being the only woman on the street with a license.
Every other woman and the kids were stuck at home unless the husbands took them.
So Dorene would regularly squeeze Adele and her sisters, plus a few of her friends, into the back of her Beetle and embark on an adventure at the beach.
I will call her a force of nature, a fabulous force of nature.
During one of those beach days, Dorene discovered a remarkable piece of driftwood, strapped it on the Beetle, and drove it to her garden, where it sat on display for more than 30 years.
It was wonderful.
After Dorene died, Adele showcased the log in her yard for 2 decades, until she happened upon the work of driftwood artist Tanya Bubb and offered it to her.
And I said, you'll do much more with it than I will ever do.
So Tanya gratefully accepted it, and like her previous work, expected to use it as a component in the construction of some sort of creature.
I would sort of look at the thing and I'm like, no, it's not a bear. And I'd be like, okay, come back 2 months later. I don't see a Sasquatch here.
It wasn't until a year later that Tanya finally saw it as kelp waving in the water, was inspired to start bending chicken wire into a shape she could perch on top of the stump, and eventually made a massive mermaid that she named the Fabulous Dorene.
And I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Adele couldn't believe 2 things. First, she'd never told Tanya about Dorene's passion.
My mother loved mermaids, absolutely loved them.
And second, Adele had never shown Tanya any photos of her mom, let alone this picture of Dorene perched on a wall with her arms stretched out in a strikingly similar pose.
I couldn't believe that that was basically my mom in mermaid form.
And while it could be coincidence, and certainly serendipity, maybe, they say, it's something more magical.
I think she kind of inhabited that wood a little bit and was a little bit whispering in my ear.
But no matter the explanation, Tanya's donating proceeds of its sale to a charity in Dorene's name, and Adele is hoping whoever takes the mermaid home is inspired to be fabulous in the same way Dorene was.
Find something you enjoy and bring that joy to others as well.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.